welcome to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show on bogradio.fm with the usual suspects. Tonight, Antoine, A.S. Stewart, and my nephew, Caleb Lopes. What's up, guys? What's happening?
What's going on, fellas?
What's up, y'all?
By the way, I want to make everyone aware of the fact that my nephew, Caleb, now is the starting field goal kicker on his varsity football team at John Carroll High School in Fort Pierce, Florida.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
You gotta love it. As a freshman, you gotta love it. What's up, Stu? What you think, bro?
Yeah, man. Hey, man. Keep doing what you're doing, Caleb. I mean, that says a lot as a freshman being the starter on the varsity team. That's showing that you really are the best out there on your team, and that you're only going to get better from here on out.
Yes, sir.
There's no question about it. I love it. You know, the run to the next level starts right now because it's not common for freshmen to get to start with the big boys. They're very uncommon. And so anyway, big time congrats to Caleb. Welcome everybody to the Maurice Brown Comedy Show on Bog Radio, the NFL Training Camp edition. And hey guys, the start of the season is like right around the corner, literally.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't wait.
I almost don't even count this last dumb preseason game. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's a certain level of validity to it because some guys still have to get that last look, including quarterbacks, and we're going to talk a little bit about that as the show progresses. But it's a lot of interesting things developing. One of the first things I want to talk about today, guys, is the best division in football. Does it reside in the American Football Conference, the AFC North?
Absolutely. To me, that's where all the storylines are. That's where most of the great quarterbacks are. That's where a lot of the competition is. I think the AFC is on fire right now.
Caleb, would you agree with that? Is that the best division in football?
Oh yeah, it's not even a question. I mean, the AFC North, all four of those teams, they could make the playoffs. All four of those teams could win that division. I mean, that is going to be a really fun division to watch, and it just hypes up this season even more. Just gets us even more excited.
Once upon a time, it was the NFC East. The Dallas Cowboys, the Philadelphia Eagles, the New York Giants, and then when they were known as the Washington Redskins. That was like perennially the best division in football. No longer. And in fact, the NFC East, had the Cowboys and Eagles not dropped the ball last year, might have a little something to say about it. But I don't think there's any division out there top to bottom. You can look at the AFC West with the 49ers and the Rams, but the Seahawks are no more. The Cardinals don't factor in. It stops there. You can look at the AFC West, and you can look at the Chiefs. And then after that, maybe the Chargers, because I think they're going to surprise a lot of people. And then the Raiders are no more. The Broncos, not a factor. You look at the AFC East, there might be a little bit of debate there, but you've only got, it's a 3-horse race in the AFC East. The Jets, the Bills, and the Dolphins. The Patriots are no more. So that's about as close as you can get to challenging this idea of the AFC North being the best. I don't think there's any doubt about it. But as you talk about the AFC, recently in the AFC West, the Denver Broncos named Bo Nix their starter. And we all know what happened last year with Sean Payton and Russell Wilson and the blowout on the meltdown on the sideline and all that nonsense. The question now is, can Bo Nix, a rookie, be the difference maker at QB1 for the Denver Broncos? Stu.
I think as great of a coach as Sean Payton is, he may be about to get fired. I don't I don't see anything happening with Bo Nix.
Yeah.
I mean, I was watching some of his highlights in his preseason games. I mean, to me, he seems like a screen guy. And they were saying in Oregon, you know, that's what he was known for, a lot of screens and a lot of short passes. Throwing in between the numbers in this speed and this caliber with everything going so fast and threading the needle in such a high competition league, I don't see it. Maybe Sean Payton sees something that we're not privy to, that we don't see. But from my eyes, I don't see it. I think he's going to struggle. I think he's going to end up getting benched. And then they're going to go through that whole quarterback room to this guy get benched, to that guy get benched, to talks about Sean Payton being on the hot seat and about to get kicked out of Denver.
Well, you know, at the beginning of training camp, Sean Payton said, "I've got a plan." Do you remember General George Custer? Anyway, I'll leave it alone. I'm going to leave that alone. Hey, Caleb, your thoughts on Bo Nix being the difference maker at QB1 for Denver?
Yeah. I mean, we can't count him out completely. No one thought Brock Purdy was going to do anything, but
right.
It's like it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
You can hope all you want. It's a 99% chance that he go out there first 3 weeks, stink it up, and get benched. And as you said, and I'm going to put this out, none of these quarterbacks are Drew Brees.
None of them are Drew Brees.
Doesn't have Drew Brees anymore. And we're starting to see. I wonder if it was Sean Payton or was it just Drew Brees being great and elevating his coach to that point. But it's going to be tough. He's definitely, I'd say, already in the hot seat. He messed things up with a top-tier QB in Russ. And, I mean, if he can't find something out this season, he better be careful because he going to have a pink slip sooner or later.
I can answer your question for you about Brees and Payton. You ready?
Let's go.
Let's go. Yeah.
You're not going to see a bust of Sean Payton in Canton.
Yeah.
That's the anyway. Let me. All right. Look. Let me just say this to you. First of all, when you look at the Three Stooges at potential QB1 coming into training camp in Denver, and I do mean this Three Stooges: Jared Stidham, Zach Wilson, and Bo Nix. Okay, so at this point, I'm going to take. I'm taking Curly. Let's put Bo Nix in there. Of those three, I think of those three, Bo Nix is clearly the best of those three. That's the best I can say about Bo Nix. But beyond that, I'm looking at Sean Payton, and I'm looking, if you're basing his performance in the preseason on who you're going to pick, I'm like, you're looking at junk defenses, very vanilla defenses, and he's not going to see that week one. I'm just going to tell you right now, he's not going to see that. So I think, as bad as this may sound, you might want to put a guy like Zach Wilson out there for 2 or 3 weeks before you give it to a rookie.
Yeah.
And I know Zach stinks. There's no question about that. But he knows what the NFL is. You can't throw Bo Nix out there. They got Bo Nix thinking he is Drew Brees.
He wasn't looking like
it. You haven't. What was that? What you say, Stu?
I said he definitely wasn't looking like it in them preseason games.
Well,
he's looking like Bruce Lee's.
Well, he hasn't seen any real defenses yet. That's all I'm saying. So he's played well enough for him to go with Bo Nix. But dude, you gotta use your head. You don't want to throw a guy like that into the fire. So I agree with both of you guys that this may be a huge mistake. And to your point, Stu, this is the kind of move that could get Sean Payton fired.
Absolutely.
So we're going to move on to the next headline, and it involves Lamar Jackson, as it usually does here every training camp and NFL show we have. I love Lamar. The question is he, in your minds, guys, the second best to Patrick Mahomes quarterback in the AFC? Stu.
No. I got Joe Burrows in front of him.
Okay.
I think Lamar Jackson is the most dynamic player in the league. I mean, as
Right.
far as with his running ability and the things that he's capable of, but we got to see him get it done in the postseason. In this league, it's about what you do when it starts getting cold outside.
Yeah.
And we haven't seen that from him yet. And we're waiting. We're anxiously waiting. We see it in him. We see the potential there. And if he ever figures that aspect of his game out in the postseason, he's going to be unstoppable. But he hasn't done it yet. We've seen glimpses of it from Joe Burrow. He gives Patrick Mahomes a run for his money when they go head to head.
Right.
I've seen that next level rise in Joe Burrow. Of course, Patrick Mahomes is probably going to go down, if not number one, or number two greatest of all time, but he's going to be in the conversation when he's finished. But we haven't seen it with Lamar yet, and I can't crown him. I can't stamp him with that level of praise yet until we see it done in the postseason.
Okay, Caleb, your thoughts on the second best behind Patrick in the AFC?
Yeah, I got to give it to Joe because he's the only one that's really proved that he can beat Patrick, other than Tom Brady, that can beat Patrick in the postseason. And honestly, I think I'd put Josh Allen above Lamar. They're close. I feel like they're in a similar situation right now, where both of them have a lot to prove. But I think Josh is a little bit above him just because of his passing. He throws a lot of picks, but he can sling it too. It's just we'll put Lamar tied for third. We'll do that.
Okay.
But I'm gonna put Joe above him for now. But he has the qualities to move up.
So you sent me a video by text earlier today. I think it was today or yesterday, Stu, of Stephen A. Smith and Molly. I forget what Molly's last name. She's the main facilitator on the First Take show. Mm-hmm. And she asked him, "Hey, Stephen A., who's the best? Who would you pick if it came down to one play to make a play at quarterback, Joe Burrow or Lamar Jackson?" And then Molly answered for him as he answered the same. They kind of like said it at the same time. It's going to be Joe Burrow.
Yeah.
Because Joe Burrow is going to make that throw. Lamar Jackson's a lot less likely to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. And you know, it's a shame, but I'm going to have to agree with all of that. As much as I love Lamar and as dynamic as he is, right now from the pocket, Joe Burrow is the guy I'm going to go with behind Patrick. And if Patrick's not careful, if Joe doesn't get injured this year, he may rename Arrowhead Burrowhead again. So Lamar's not on that level yet. Now, he's got Derrick Henry in Baltimore to help lessen some of the blows he's going to receive this year. Going to take a lot of pressure off of him.
Yeah.
And this way, Lamar can maybe relax a little bit more and not try to force plays to happen and just let it come to him. But he's got to get to that Super Bowl level. Joe Burrow doesn't have a ring, but he's been to the big game. And Lamar is yet to do that. So, I agree with all of that. I don't think there's any question. Maybe this is the year he breaks through. We're talking about quarterback situations. Let's go to Pittsburgh. We're just talking about Sean Payton and how he thinks that he's going to create another Drew Brees out of Bo Nix. He certainly didn't think he could do it to Russell Wilson. My personal opinion is that things got a little bit misunderstood over there, and I think Peyton overreacted. That's just my personal take on it. However, we're in Pittsburgh now. Stu, I ask you this question. Who should be QB1 in Pittsburgh? Justin Fields or Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson. It's the safe play. It's the best bet. It protects Fields in a way that you play Russell, the vet, the Super Bowl winning quarterback. If he does decent this year, you keep him in. If he stinks to join up, you play Fields and you hand the keys over to Fields. This gives Fields the most protection. He has the longer contract. Russell is only locked in for a year. And this gives them an opportunity, Fields an opportunity to learn from Russell, learn what to do and what not to do. When Russell makes mistakes, learn what not to do. The things that Russell does well, learn what to do. And they have a phenomenal head coach, Mike Tomlin, and a great organization. And I think that Fields has never experienced that. Wilson has. Wilson's won the big game. He knows what it's like to be in a talented veteran locker room on both sides of the ball. Fields has not, coming from the Chicago Bears and that organization under that head coach and that regime is not the best. So I think Fields, it takes the pressure off of Fields. Fields is a competitive guy. He's going to compete at the highest level. But I think that sitting him down takes the pressure off of him and allows him to soak in the moment. And then when he does get his shot, to go out there and make the best out of it.
Okay, Caleb, your thoughts. Is it Justin Fields or Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh?
I'm gonna put Russ for now. Fields is, at least to me, I feel like Pittsburgh is saving him. He's gonna be their quarterback for the future. They got Russ on like a 1-year deal. From what I see, I think they want Fields to learn from him, to gather what he can, sit behind a vet like Jordan Love did with Aaron Rodgers, learn as much as he can. And when he does go out on the field with a talented team, with a good head coach, he can go out there and succeed like that. He can go out there, ball. And I do believe that Pittsburgh, they have a Super Bowl window. They have a great team right now. Their receiver room is stacked. And when Fields gets under center and he takes the reins, I think they're going to be a scary team to play against.
So, with all of that being said, what quarterback in your minds, guys, is under more pressure in the AFC North? Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, Deshaun Watson, or the Fields/Wilson combo in Pittsburgh? Stu, your thoughts?
I think this is an easy one. Lamar Jackson is under the most pressure because that name gets thrown into the top 3, top 2, and even the top 1 quarterback in the AFC. He has everything around him. He's healthy. They've been improving. He has the defense. He has now extra help in the run game. This is their window. If he's going to do it, now is the time. Joe Burrows is coming off an injury. He's great, but he's going to have that excuse built in. Deshaun Watson, he was taking a break from massages, so I'm joking. But Deshaun, it's Cleveland. We don't. I know Cleveland is a good team, great defense. We're waiting to see Deshaun kind of snap back into what we were accustomed to seeing from the Houston Texans after that whole debacle, the massage situation. We haven't seen him play elite level ball, yet. And then Fields and Wilson, again, these are 2 players that are learning an offense again. Everyone has kind of a built-in excuse, whereas Lamar doesn't. We're expecting him to win a playoff game. Not only that, we're expecting him to make it to the AFC Championship game and potentially in the Super Bowl and win it. That's the expectations that we have for Lamar Jackson. So I think easily he has the most odds stacked against him to rise to the occasion where we expect him to be. Will he do it? We'll soon find out.
Caleb, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's Lamar Jackson, no doubt. He has no more excuses. He has the pieces around him. He just can't slip up this season. He has to go out there, and if he doesn't win the bowl, he has to at least get there. Or else there's definitely going to be talks around, is he the dude that we expect him to be? We all know that he's an amazing player. He can run, he can pass, and he can do everything, but except for what we've seen when in the playoffs. And that's really what counts when you're looking back and talking about a quarterback. Did he win a Super Bowl? How many playoff games? What's his playoff percentage or something like that? And like you said, Stu, none of these other quarterbacks have too much to prove. Watson, I don't think he's ever going to go back to what we saw earlier in his career in Houston. I think it's over. He's going to be a mediocre quarterback at best. Joe Burrow, he's proven to us that he's great. He's above great. He's extraordinary. And Fields and Watson, they have stuff to prove, but not to the entire league. They have to prove it just to their organization. So Lamar, he has to show up and show out. He has to win this division first and foremost, and he has to at least make it to the Super Bowl, I would think.
I cannot dispute any of what you guys have said there. I think it's all 100% on the money. Let's go to the Dallas Cowboys. Will they pay CeeDee Lamb what he deserves this year? And if not, are they sabotaging their season? Stu.
Well, Jerry Jones has been sabotaging the season for a long time, so I don't expect anything different. Every year with these guys, it's always something, and he always has to put his 2 cents on it instead of letting the people he hires do their jobs. If he pays him, then what is he going to do with the Dak situation? Dak's approaching another big contract, or are they going to let him walk and try to get either someone from free agency or the draft? I don't have any faith in Jerry Jones, and I think it's over for him as far as, he's pretty getting up there. He not pretty getting up there. He's old. It is what it is. Jerry Jones is old.
Yeah.
He doesn't have that much. His window is not that large, and I don't think he's ever going to see another Super Bowl again. Unfortunately, he had his run, and that was it. So I think it's one of those situations where if I'm CeeDee Lamb, it's kind of like, do you want to even stay there? If it's just about the money, that's one thing, but what does the future look like for Dallas? Because if they pay you and they get rid of Dak and they bring in some cheeseball quarterback from the draft or something like that, and it's like you're in a situation all over again. Now you're in a Davante Adams situation to where you thought your quarterback was one guy, you get all this money, and then they bring in somebody else, and then your numbers and everything else goes down. So I think it's going to be a situation to where, of course, get your money, but in the long run, I'm curious to see what they do with that quarterback situation. It's going to solidify if you're a true number one receiver. You have to have a good quarterback. It is what it is. Jerry Rice had great quarterbacks.
Yeah.
All these great number one receivers. Davante Adams had Aaron Rodgers. Whenever you think of one, you're going to also think of a complementary piece and a great quarterback. And hopefully he has that down the road, but Dak is not great. He'll get you the stats, but I think that's going to be one of the things that comes down to is either going to be the money or is he going to chase being on a winning organization and want to trade. So I'm curious to see how that plays out.
I totally agree, and that he doesn't want to end up in the same situation that Davante Adams is in out in Las Vegas, getting hung out to dry like a t-shirt. Anyway, so Caleb, your thoughts about the Cowboys? Will they pay CeeDee Lamb what he deserves this year? And if they don't, are they sabotaging their own season?
How they're handling it right now, from what I've heard, words from Jerry Jones, they're in no rush. And from what we've seen, CeeDee Lamb, it looks like he's already starting to cut ties. Uh, I mean, he has to get that bag. He's a top 3 receiver in the league. You could even argue that he's the best receiver in the league. And it's either he gets his bag in Dallas, or someone else is gonna pick him up and pay him. That's just how the market's going. And I feel like he might be a trade deadline type of deal if he doesn't get paid soon. I think that might be something that could happen. He could play out this season and uh, get his deal next year. But we gonna have to see, because if I was the GM for the Cowboys, I'd be wanting to pay that dude as soon as possible.
Yeah, it's more drama in Dallas as usual. Let's go out to the NFC South and visit the Carolina Panthers. They are starting Bryce Young in their final preseason game. Does this suggest they're not sure that he's their QB1 to start the year? That they have a lack of confidence going into the year, the starting week 1, Stu?
Man, this can mean a multiple things. This can mean a lot of different things. I had to actually look into this, and he hasn't played one preseason game this year so far. So
Oh,
it's
wow.
on one hand, you want to get him some reps at the position, or else you basically treat him like he's Aaron Rodgers and say, you don't need to play in the preseason. We'll see you in the season.
Yeah.
But if we look deeper, things that we don't know, was he battling an injury? Was he a little nicked up and you guys gave him a couple of weeks to rest up and like, we'll just play the third game once you heal up? There are a lot of things. And in another hand, like you said, it could be, well, we really want to see this backup situation, get them more playing time. Because we don't know we don't know if we truly believe in you. We really want to see what we have behind you. It could be a lot of things, but I truly think that because of the statue that he has and where he was drafted and everything else, with him being young, I just feel like it's a situation to where you're solidified the starter, and we really got a backup competition going on between your backups, and we really want them to get more snaps. I feel like that's more on the lines of what it is. I don't truly know, but I think he's solidified as the starter. I don't think it's an issue with that. There would have been a lot of talks going around if it wasn't, but we'll see how he looks in his third preseason game. He should look good because most teams are going to rest the starters anyway. So hopefully they'll keep his starting offensive line and some of his weapons out there, so that he can at least have a drive or two to look real good before they pull him and avoid any potential injuries.
Caleb, your thoughts on the Panthers starting Bryce in the final preseason game? And this is when the dogs come out. People get hurt in the last game of the preseason because guys are trying to make the team. So you're putting him out there. Most guys are sitting, the QB1s mostly are sitting in the last game. All right, does this indicate a lack of confidence in Bryce Young?
I don't see that at all. When you take a QB first overall, especially a guy like Bryce Young, I truly believe in him. I don't know if the Panthers 100% do, but if he didn't get any reps during the preseason, I think they're gonna at least put him in a drive or two. I doubt he's gonna be playing the entire game. I know he's not gonna be playing the entire game.
Yeah.
It's really just to see him out there, put him in pads, let him throw a few balls, make sure he's live, ready for when starters come out, when the real season starts. He'll be ready, because I think Bryce Young is a good quarterback. He really just got put in a horrible situation behind a horrible O line with very few weapons. And I mean, it is what it is. You take what you get, but he showed some flashes last year, and I think he could become something, grow into something this year. But I'm not worrying at all about them starting him in the preseason finale. It's probably just going to be for one set. It's nothing to worry about.
I would agree. Let's slide over to the AFC East. And Tua Tagovailoa has blamed Brian Flores for Miami's struggles on offense. Is Tua making Flores a scapegoat for his own issues, Stu?
No, because when Flores was there, that's before the head coach they have now, Mike McDaniels. So who came from the 49ers, he's from that Shanahan tree. Brian Flores is a defensive guy. He came from the Belichick tree. And I think, to be honest, I think it's a little, I don't know why he's even talking about it. What was asked about, what question was asked that he had to bring up Brian Flores at this point in time when he's no longer your coach. But I think that was a big thing on Brian Flores learning how to coach players. What I mean by that is you can't coach everybody the same. You have somebody like Tom Brady, you can coach him hard. You can talk. Belichick used to talk trash about Tom Brady in the press conference, and that would motivate Tom Brady, put a fire on him. Everybody's not built like that. Just like in the school system, every kid you can't teach the same. Some people learn differently. Some people should be coached differently. As a great coach, you learn your players and you learn what you can and can't do with each one individually. If that's your quarterback, and obviously Tua doesn't respond with being coached up too harshly. He kind of wants to be kind of motivated, like, hey, I know you got it, because he spoke on that and said, like, you got one coach that I had who was basically telling me, basically, I'm trash or I don't belong here. I didn't earn it, and I don't belong in this spot. And then he said the next coach comes in and says, you're exactly the guy we need. You're good enough. You can get it done. And he responded off of that, So I think that was to me, it was more of a personal inside thing where I don't know why he released it to the media. It was definitely a spot that he was hurt from, but it's a thing where that's not how he does well under that type of coaching style, that Belichick style mentality that Brian Flores has coming from that coaching tree. So it's one of those things where he just aired out some dirty laundry. I didn't think it was no need for that. I mean, Mike McDaniels has been that coach for what? This should be like the third year or something like that. So it should be long past all that type of stuff. And that should just be something held close to the vest. But, now we live in a society with social media and everyone has a podcast and everyone has a talk show, and players taking these opportunities to air out dirty laundry. And that's just one of those things.
So James Moore says Tua is a true system quarterback, and he is making him a scapegoat, which I tend to agree with as well. And I agree with you, Stu, in that, look, it's dirty laundry. Don't air that stuff. Keep that stuff close to the vest and keep it moving. Caleb, your thoughts on Brian Flores being made a scapegoat for Tua Tagovailoa's own issues?
Oh, yeah, it's definitely passing the blame on to someone else. A coach you had 3 years ago, you're going to blame for struggles right now. You can't do that, dude. It's almost funny because once people start seeing, oh, Tua, there's something wrong, because I feel like any average quarterback with that type of receiving core would be putting up numbers. And Tua's underthrowing, overthrowing dudes left and right. And I mean, it's ugly, and people are starting to see, oh, this dude might not be what we thought he was. He's a system QB. He could be even called almost a fraud, because I feel like if you put Tua in a less loaded offense and put him with a few average receivers, he's gonna turn out like Zach Wilson or Mac Jones. I don't think he's really like that. And Brian
Yeah.
Flores is being blamed by him for no apparent reason, because like you said, Stu, he hurt his feelings while he was Tua's coach, and
Yeah.
it's just, it doesn't make sense. You gotta take ownership for your flaws, and he's not doing that, and it just makes his situation worse.
If I were Tua, I would be very quiet. I would take my bag. Shh, I got my bag. Shh. I wouldn't say anything.
Yeah.
He got way more than he's actually worth. Way more. I would say nothing and just be glad with my bag, dude. I wouldn't say a word. Let's go to the NFC West and look at the Arizona Cardinals. And we don't expect them to do a lot this year. However, should we expect a big year from Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr.? Stu.
I think they'll make some noise. They have some highlights. Kyler Murray, he's pretty decent at doing this Russell Wilson imitation of trying to scramble out and then trying to make a play down the field. I think they'll create some highlight reels in that sense. But as far as postseason and actually winning games, I don't think they're going to be that fortunate. I just think it's going to be one of those things where if you have a fantasy team, depending on how things are starting, Harrison might be a third slot. I wouldn't put him at 1 or 2 wide receiver unless he just takes off, but he may be one of those options you can throw in there. I think they'll do something decent, but nothing too extraordinary, I don't feel.
Caleb, what do you think about the duo of Kyler Murray and Marvin Harrison Jr. hooking up in Arizona?
I like both players. I like Kyler Murray. He's super underrated, I feel like. And he's a little bit injury prone, but as long as he stays healthy, I feel like they could win maybe like eight games. Nothing too crazy. They're going to have a decent year. Like you said, they're going to have a few highlight plays. Marvin Harrison if he continues on the trend that he came in from Ohio State and he follows in his dad's footsteps, he's going to be like that. And if you give Kyler Murray a real weapon, I think he can work with it. So I could expect, I think they're going to prove some people wrong. If you think too low of them, they could come in and surprise you.
I totally agree with that. They're going to be exciting. And I agree with you, Stu. I don't expect the Cardinals to do a whole lot, but I do expect a highlight reel from these two. They're going to play 60 minutes of football this year, and they're going to make it difficult for you to beat them. But I don't think as a team they have enough to make any playoff noise. Let's look at the trivia question for today. I love to throw the trivia question out. And I want to see how good your football acumen is on this one, guys. What rookie quarterback had the best season ever as the starter in NFL history?
I know it's not RG3, is it?
No.
Okay. I mean, the only thing that can come to my mind is Big Ben. I know that was one of the answers from last time. I'm gonna go with Big Ben.
Big Ben was the youngest quarterback to ever win a Super Bowl.
Right.
But that was a good guess, though, because he's high on the list. But the answer would be who, Caleb?
I don't know what I'm feeling. I remember back we had said some about Dak. He had a pretty good season as a rookie. I think I'm gonna go Dak Prescott.
Okay. Well, you're a young fella, and I get it. Both of you guys are kind of young for this one. But you know who it is. Danny Marino. 1983. He started 9 of 16 games. He came in. They knocked out the starter that year. I forget who it was that they knocked out. I think it was David Woodley. And he went 7-2, threw for 2,210 yards in 9 games, 20 TDs, a 96 passer rating, third in MVP voting as a rookie, and he led his team to the playoffs. He was number 1. And then my man James Moore says Cam Newton. That's a good one. That's actually a very good one. And because we had different names coming up, and you guys are kind of young, I'm going to give you a shot at maybe guessing who some of the other guys are on the top 10 list of all. Who's number 2?
Man. Cam's probably up there. I know Cam is up there.
Okay.
Cam is on the list.
Okay.
Cam Newton is on the list, and RG3 is on the list, by the way. So those were that was a good guess. But number 2 would be who? And Dak's on the list, by the way.
Aaron didn't play his rookie.
Patrick Mahomes.
Good
You know what?
guess.
He didn't play his rookie year.
Oh wow. Okay.
He played 1 game his rookie year. It was
That's
Alex
right.
Smith.
Alex Smith played. That's right.
Number 2, Caleb, you got it. You got a name?
Lamar Jackson.
Think he a recent. He's let's
no.
He ain't recent. Is CJ Stroud up there?
He is on the list. CJ's on the list.
Okay.
That's a good one. CJ.
Let's think.
Doug
Did
Williams
Russ start?
No, I'm gonna give it to you right now because it's actually the name's already been thrown out there. It's Big Ben. He was number 2.
Okay.
Cam Newton number 3. Andrew Luck number 4 all time, and RG3 comes in at number 5. Russell Wilson 6. Your guy Dak Prescott that you mentioned earlier, Caleb number 7. Baker Mayfield, guys, believe it or not, is number 8 all time as a dead gum rookie starter. And then Justin Herbert at number 9, CJ Stroud number 10.
Okay. I had 2 of the top 5. I'll take it.
Oh yeah, you did. I mean, there's some. I think what's quite amazing is that CJ Stroud made the top 10 all time.
Yeah.
Even though he's at number 10, I think it's quite amazing that he made it that far. But that being said, guys, like I said, I'm really excited about the season that's coming up. We got week 1 is like right around the corner. I mean, we're looking at probably what's the dates due for week 1? September 5th, I believe it's September 5th, and it is going to be the Ravens and the Kansas City Chiefs. Week 1, it's a Thursday night on NBC. The Chiefs and the Ravens. What a kickoff to the season. Stu, what are your thoughts about this matchup?
Man, this goes back to what we stated earlier. This is the chance for Lamar Jackson to claim that this is his year. This is his breakout year. Breakout meaning postseason. I know it's the regular season, but if he goes out and they blow the doors off of the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead Stadium, that's going to be Lamar's going to be the talk of the town. I think that I'm going to take Baltimore, even though my heart is saying Kansas City Chiefs at home easily. I wouldn't bet on this at all, but I'm going to say Baltimore just for the hopes of this is a new year. They got some new pieces, and hopefully Lamar is ready to turn the chapter into that next upper echelons of quarterbacks and go ahead and get the season opener against the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes, James Moore, revenge games are special, and this is one heck of a revenge game. Caleb, your thoughts on this matchup?
This is going to be a perfect game to start off the season. It's gonna be beautiful. But
Hey,
I mean, I bet against Kansas City the entire season last year. I talked trash and I learned my lesson. I ain't gonna do it no more. I gotta choose them. I want Lamar and the Ravens to win. I'm gonna be cheering for them in the game, but I gotta take Pat Mahomes. As long as he's in Arrowhead, I can't pick against him. So I'm gonna go with the Chiefs first game dub.
I agree with James Moore. I think Lamar Jackson is a guy that doesn't feel a lot of pressure during the regular season, even a big game like this. I mean, I think he proved that in San Francisco last year. I mean, that was as big a game as it gets. And they went in there and smashed the 49ers. I know you don't like hearing that, Stu. I just had to throw that out. But I agree with James Moore on this. I think he plays a lot looser during the regular season, and I don't think this game means that much to the Chiefs. It means a lot to everybody else. It doesn't mean that much to the Chiefs. Now, Chiefs gonna go out there and try to win. This is gonna be a dogfight, and I think the Ravens will win the game, but I don't think it means anything in the grand scheme of things. We'll see what happens in that matchup, and then the second part of the kickoff to week 1 will be in Brazil, where the Green Bay Packers on September 6th travel to play the Philadelphia Eagles on Peacock at 8:15 p.m. on Friday night of September 6th. Stu, your thoughts about this matchup?
It's another great one, man. These are some great games. No one has a home field advantage.
Yeah.
You know, I like Green Bay. You know, Philly, if Philly got it together, we'll see. You know, Saquon's healthy. It's going to be a tough game. Philly plays defense. I'm going to take Green Bay based off of how you guys finished the season last year. I think that you'll pick up. Am I still here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that you guys will pick up where you left off. You far exceeded most people's expectations of you guys. And I think that you'll go ahead and get it done on the road. Is this Brazil?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in Brazil.
In Brazil. And you said you're going to that game, right, Mo?
Man, I wish I could. You know, that's my wife's home country. I wish I could get her to get us a ticket for that, but I think we're gonna miss this one. Caleb, what do you think about this matchup?
You know, I had Green Bay too. I feel like Philadelphia ended that season real ugly. That's the thing. They went on like a 5-game skid. I feel like Nick Sirianni lost that locker room.
Yeah.
Maybe over the offseason, he got it back. He talked to players. Jalen Hurts got that offense running once again, but they lost one of their main leaders in Jason Kelsey, a Hall of Fame center. I mean, I think they will take a step back. It's not going to be big because they did get Saquon that steps up their run game, but I don't think they're going to be the same team that we saw and that we were expecting to see last year and that we saw 2 years ago in the Super Bowl against the Chiefs. And I'm going to take Green Bay. They balled out last season to end out the season. They're going to come in rolling, hopefully. And honestly, I like them as a black horse Super Bowl pick. If I had to choose anybody for an underdog, I choose Green Bay. But we're going to talk about that later, hopefully. But it's way too early for that. But I'm going to choose Green Bay for week 1 Friday night.
I like hearing that. I think the issue for me in this game is Saquon Barkley. And I think he can be the difference maker for the entire year if he can stay healthy, because we know he's injury prone. But if he can stay upright all year, I'm not counting the Eagles out. And so obviously I have to go with my boys. That's my team. But if I'm just looking at it from a schematic standpoint of who's got who. I just think it's going to be a great game, and it's just up. It's just up in the air. It's up for grabs. Saquon Barkley is a problem, and the Giants are crazy for letting that guy walk out of the door. And it may be just what the Eagles needed at that running back position. Let's go to the opening weekend for real, and that's going to be on September the 8th. And we've got the let's see, we've got things not come up on the screen. Okay, I got it on the ticker. We've got coming up Arizona and Buffalo at 1 o'clock on CBS, Tennessee versus Chicago at 1 o'clock on CBS, and then New England at Cincinnati to start the day off. You know, that game, the game for me is going to be the Chicago Bears and the Tennessee Titans. That's the game right there for me. We need to be looking at that one to find out, and it's going to be at Soldier Field. What are your thoughts on this matchup, Stu?
I mean, it's one of those games where we know Caleb Williams is going to be the talk of the town. Tennessee is not a great team right now. They lost their special weapon. I'm curious to see how the offense does without their special weapon. So I think that's a game that Chicago should win, because with them having a revamped roster, they got some weapons and everything. Caleb shouldn't have to do too much to beat the Titans. It's not like you got a phenomenal quarterback on the other end and you're out there dueling and he's putting up numbers. So I think that's a game that Chicago should be able to start the season off on a good foot and get the dub.
Caleb, your thoughts on this matchup, the Bears and the Titans at Soldier Field?
Oh yeah, Caleb Williams. I like what I saw. I know it was a preseason. He put up some pretty good throws in the preseason. That one game against the Bills, he looked nice. I've hated on him a lot, but it's just we gonna get to see. And I think they should be able to go in there and win by honestly a good 2 touchdowns. And if they don't, it's gonna be a little bit of a problem. But there should be an easy win as long as Caleb Williams doesn't go in and crash the car. They should walk out with a dub at home.
I think this is a good start for Caleb and the Bears, no question, coming out of the gate. Also on Sunday, September 8th, the Houston Texans take on the Indianapolis Colts. I actually think this is going to be a very good matchup. I think Anthony Richardson, if I have his name correct, is going to be the returning QB1 for the Colts, 1 o'clock on CBS. Jacksonville and Miami, also a good matchup, 1 o'clock on CBS. Carolina at New Orleans. That's a good time to take a nap if you're in New Orleans. And that's at 1 o'clock on Fox. Then Minnesota and the Giants on Fox at 1 o'clock. Stu, what do you think about the Houston-Indianapolis matchup?
Should be a good game. I'm definitely curious to see how the Colts quarterback does. And I'm curious, what's his name?
Anthony
Richardson. Anthony Richardson. CJ Stroud. I think he's going to pick right off where he left. I think the Houston Texans are going to blow Indianapolis out of the water.
Yeah.
No disrespect to them. It's just that, from watching him do what he did as a rookie, I don't think it's going to be a sophomore slump. DeMeco Ryan is an excellent head coach. He's going to have that defense ready to play. CJ is going to be even that more comfortable in his with his teammates, in the offensive scheme and everything, and probably be able to do more things than he was able to do last year. So Richardson, he had some injuries. He had an up and down shaky season. So he's trying to, establish what CJ was able to do in his rookie year. So I think that the Texans are not going to have any issues with beating up the Colts.
Let's step it up a little bit here. We got the Chargers and the Raiders, 4:05 on CBS. Denver at Seattle, 4:05 on CBS. Dallas traveling to Cleveland. That is going to be a very intriguing matchup on Fox at 4:25. The Commanders take on the Bucks on Fox at 4:25. And I think the game of the day will be the Rams and the Lions on Peacock that night on Sunday night at 8:20. Caleb, your thoughts about the Rams and Lions?
Oh, that's gonna be a fun watch. I think I got Detroit. The Rams I feel like they're gonna come in a little bit slow. They just lost one of the best D tackles of all time. You could say the best. That defense is gonna take a little bit of a slump. We're gonna see that. But if Detroit slips up a little bit on defense, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, that receiving room, and Kyron Williams, they gon' ball out. This season is the Rams are coming. That's all I'm gonna say. I think I got Detroit for this first one, but they can't slip up or else the Rams are gonna sneak in win this game.
And finally, the game arguably of week one. It's a number of games you could pick. This one right here, I think most would agree is the one. I'm going to give it to you, Stu, and let you take it away. And it's going to be the New York Jets taking on the San Francisco 49ers in the Bay Area on ESPN and ABC at 8:20. Stu, your thoughts?
Man, what a great way to kick off Monday night football. Aaron Rodgers is back. Hopefully and praying that he does not get injured. No one ever want to see anyone get hurt. It's going to be a tough game. We're going to come in ready. The Jets have a great defense. Now, with Aaron Rodgers at the quarterback position, that's going to make that team much more dangerous. Of course, do the 49ers have a Super Bowl hangover? Is the Madden curse real with our running back being on the cover? It's just a lot of things. How is Brock going to do? He didn't look too good even though, which was stupid to me. Cal put a starting quarterback on the field with no starters, and I'm like, what are you doing? It's a great matchup. It could definitely go either way. Of course, I'm taking 49ers at home to get it done. I believe that we have more established vets on our team that we have the sour taste in our mouths. The guy who injured Aaron Rodgers on the first play of last year is on our team now on the defensive line. So that's going to be a storyline that they're going to be talking up and seeing what happens with that. But hopefully no injuries, just good, clean football. But I'm taking the 49ers at home.
Caleb, in 30 seconds, who do you have in this matchup?
Yeah, I got the Niners. Like James Moore said, Aaron Rodgers has a super bad record against the Niners. That's his hometown team. So I'm just get it done over with. I got San Francisco primetime Monday Night Football getting their first dub of the season.
Yeah, I have to agree with James Moore on that. I mean, I'm a Packer fan, and I've seen Aaron not do well time and time again against the 49ers. He loves the Bay Area. He wanted to play for the 49ers, and he's never played well against them. So to take that argument is plausible. But I just have a sneaky feeling Aaron's not going to go out like that this time. He's got a chip on his shoulder for real, and I think it's going to be an outstanding game. A game the Jets can win. I definitely think the Jets are going to make some. Again, as long as he can stay healthy. Here's a guy that's 40 years old coming off an Achilles tear, and there's no guarantee that he's going to. And like you said, Stu, you don't want to see anybody get hurt, but there's no guarantee he's going to be able to stand up under that. We got to get out of here, guys. Folks, thanks for hanging out and checking the show out on the Maurice Brown Comedy Show on bogradio.fm. We'll be back. We'll try to get back here next week for the official week one of the season. May the peace of Christ be with you and your families, everybody. God bless.